Hello everyone, welcome back to Cop.Supply. In this video, I'm going to be giving you an overview of Project Destroyer, so let's jump straight into today's overview. I'm going to begin with the functionality of the program, then I'm going to go ahead and break down the entire bot. So for the functionality, to put it in full screen, all you guys want to do is go ahead and double click at the top, and as you guys can see, it goes into full screen mode. But before we go ahead and break down any of the pages, I want to go ahead and break down all the images around the entire bot, which is available on every single page, and then I will go ahead and break down the pages. We have this button to go ahead and show us the change logs per update, and we have this button to go ahead and load capture harvester, so you can go to capture harvester and you can click here, put in the capture proxy and the email and password, then hit save. Then you can go ahead and configure them very easily. Then you have the cookie jars, you can go ahead and import cookies with this button, and then export cookies with this button. So if you hit the import button, it goes ahead and gives you an import warning. Importing this file will overwrite all of the cookies currently stored in the jar. So if you hit the OK button, a file directory goes and pops up. Then you have the minimize button as well as X button. Then the status is currently idling. Then this option is set to global, and in terms of your site, you can go ahead and choose this. You can go through a bunch of options here. I'm not going to go through every single one, but depending on which one you want to go for, obviously you can go ahead and select it here. So for example, if I were to go for the hipstore.co.uk, then I have the generate button and clear jar button, and I can also hit this to go ahead and break down every single cookie jar. So it gives me a little rundown of which website has that many cookies. So if I actually hit the generate button, the status goes through the entire process, and you guys can go ahead and generate cookies if you wish. And if you go ahead and generate some cookies and you want to clear your cookie jar, once again you hit this button and it will go ahead and clear it. And when you go ahead and solve more cookies, the total will be updated over here. Now this button is to go ahead and mute Project Destroyer. Project Destroyer does have some notification sounds depending on different parts of the bot, so if you want to go ahead and mute it, you can hit this. However, for the purpose of this overview, I'm going to keep it unmuted. And then you have the deactivate button at the top, so if you want to deactivate your key out of Project Destroyer, then you can go ahead and do that. And then you have the minimize and X button. Now at the bottom here, you can go ahead and check for updates by hitting this button. You can hit the docs button to go and open up the docs. You can hit this button to check out the terms and conditions for Project Destroyer, and you can hit this button to go to their Twitter. Now we're going to go ahead and begin at the shops page. On the shops page, you have shop items and the Project Destroyer shop. All the items will pop up here when they're available, and for your inventory, you have your coins as well as the items that are available to go ahead and choose from. So if I go through my current inventory, these are themes for the actual bot. So if I were to change it to space theme, as you guys can see, it changes, and I actually like this theme quite a lot, so I'm going to go ahead and keep it for this overview. And in relation to the shop, if you hit this key button, you can go ahead and enter a code here and redeem the code if you have a code to redeem. Now moving over to the stats page, this is where the statistics for every successful or failed checkout goes. So as you guys can see, at the moment I have no data for this day, this week, month or year on all time. You can go ahead and filter it with these options. It says 0 checkouts, the total number of successful checkouts so far, and 0 fails, the total number of failed checkouts. And with this data, we'll go ahead and generate a representation to go ahead and look at, and then it will also create a success rate at the bottom there. If you want to see a complete breakdown of your checkouts, you can hit this button, and as you guys can see, the successful checkouts are broken down into ID, store, product, date, profile and order. If you XR this, you can also hit the refresh button, so if any checkouts just happened, they're not appearing here. As you guys can see, I hit refresh and it changed to free checkouts, so free checkouts have been done in all time. So for the settings page, you have two sides. You have the general settings and quick task settings. So I'm going to go ahead and break down general settings first. So you have a Slack webhook and a Discord webhook for success notifications that come through the webhook only, so you can go ahead and configure that. And if you want to go ahead and enable manual checkouts and cart hook, you can hit this, and then this becomes available to go ahead and put in your Slack webhook and your Discord webhook. And below that, you can go ahead and configure your theme. So we have a bunch of options here that you guys can go ahead and scroll through, very similar to the shop page. So if you want to change it, you can. At the moment we have a space activated, so I'm going to keep it as that. Then you can go ahead and put in your AYCD Autosolve access token as well as the AYCD Autosolve API key if you wish to use that. Then at the bottom, you can enable Slack, enable advanced V3 capture, enable auto login on loads, enable Discord, the waterfall monitor, AYCD Autosolve. So once you put that in, make sure to hit that. Then you have the auto click to enable, and also proxies with PayPal. Then you have this button to go ahead and test your webhooks. If you put any webhooks in here, it will go ahead and send test notifications to it. You have the time button, so if you hit this, it will go ahead and pop up this tab to give you the time. And then you have the Google log out all button. So if on your capture harvesters up here, if you have a bunch of Google logins, if you hit this button, it will log out all your Google accounts. Then moving over to the quick task settings, you have a few options here. For your Shopify defaults, you can change the default mode from advanced to super safe. It's completely up to you. And then you have the 50/50 mode option as well as the default account. So you can go ahead and put an account in here with the formation, email, password, and then you can choose your proxy group. At the moment it's global because we haven't added a proxy group. However, I will go ahead and go through that in a moment when we get to that page. And also the same thing applies for the account group. At the moment we don't have an account group, that's why it only says global. Then for your clothing size, you can go ahead and choose it from a drop down. There's a bunch of options there. Same with your shoe size. And for your profile, the reason why it only says example US is because we have yet to configure a profile in its overview, but do not worry, I will be going through that as well. And you can actually configure the number of tasks. And one thing to mention, supreme defaults are here as well, which you can go ahead and change the checkout delay, and that number is based in milliseconds, so please keep that in mind. And to finish off this page, we have the save button. So when you go ahead and make any changes to any settings on this page, make sure to hit the save button so it saves, and also the reset button will go ahead and reset the entire settings. Now moving on to the rates tab, this is where the shipping rates go. So you have the shipping rates subheader there, and then it's separated into ID, store, name, location, and actions in association with the shipping rates. Then you have this button to go ahead and import shipping rates in, and also this button to go ahead and export them out of PD. At the bottom here, we have the create new button to go ahead and create new shipping rates. At the moment, manual mode is toggled. I can go ahead and choose the store here, and then I can go ahead and put the shipping rate ID, and it creates new, and it goes through that process. I'm not going to cover that in this video, but if you guys want to create new shipping rates, you can. If you want to switch this to automatic mode, then you can go ahead and configure this. Obviously choose your site, choose your profile here, script the product URL, and then go ahead and create a new shipping rate. Then you have the clear all button here, so you can go ahead and clear all your shipping rates if you wish. Then you have the clear selected button. When you have shipping rates here, all you want to do is just simply click the shipping rate and hit clear selected, and that will go ahead and clear it. Moving over to the account section, we can go ahead and enter accounts here. So for the purpose of this video, I'm going to go ahead and put an account here, and then you put a colon, then you go ahead and put your password. That's what I'm going to go ahead and do. And it says use account groups to quickly create multiple tasks with each account in the group. Tester will use global proxy group for testing. Then at the bottom here, you can go ahead and choose what site these accounts are for. You can hit the save button, you can hit the test button, the clear button, clear files, and we can hit new group or delete group. So if I hit new group over here, we can go ahead and actually create a new account group name. So I'm going to call it video cannot spell video test, and now obviously I can go ahead and put an account in here. So for example, if I were to do the exact same thing, give me one moment here, and click create group, the group has been created. Now this section is to go ahead and load your account pool. So if you hit this, you can go ahead and hit the account pool we just created, and as you guys can see, the account pops up there. Then we have the test button. So if we hit this, as you guys can see, the account goes there, the speed is banned, and the status is not available simply because the account doesn't exist. That is an account that I actually have, that isn't the email or password to it. It was just for testing purposes, but that's what the results look like. And also, whilst you have an account group selected, you can go ahead and export it with this button over here if you wish to do that. Now moving over to the proxies tab, you can go ahead and put your proxies in here in the formation, IP, port, username, and password. And then very similarly to account section, you can go ahead and test them, and it will appear here. However, just to break down the buttons at the bottom, you can go ahead and choose a site it's going to test on to test the proxies, the clear button to clear the proxies, the clear failed button to obviously clear the failed proxies, and then for global, you can go ahead and choose the group once we actually create one, which is what we're going to go ahead and do now. So we're going to hit the new group button and then create a new group. So video test proxies. Then I'm going to go ahead and grab a proxy here. I've got ahead and blurred it out for this video, but you can clearly tell there's a proxy there. I'm going to create group. It's being created. I go to the drop down, hit video test proxies, and as you guys can see, the proxy is there. It's blurred out, but it's there. Then I'm going to go ahead and hit the test button, and as you guys can see, proxies there, the speed timed out, and the status is not available. I can retest it if I wish. As you guys can see, it timed out once again. If I want to go ahead and delete a group, then all I have to do is hit the group and hit delete group, and as you guys can see, the proxy group just got deleted. Now the spawn beta section is for Google Cloud and AWS at the moment. You can go ahead and select the file, select the region and zone, and spawn proxies based on your account. If you want to go ahead and do that, then you can, but I'm not going to go ahead and cover it in this video. If you guys want a detailed explanation how to do that, then there are guides live on Project Destroy's website that breaks down this entire process if you wish to utilize it. Now moving over to the profile section, we have the save profile section over here, and essentially with this button we can import profiles, with this button we can export the profiles, and with this button we can go ahead and clear all profiles. If I wish to do that, I can, but I'm not going to do that. Then when you have a saved profile, we actually have example US here by default. You can hit this button to go ahead and clone it, and this button to go ahead and delete it. However, we're going to go ahead and create a new profile here. So when you actually go onto the profiles page, the profile editor is live with no information, so you can go ahead and create a profile. If I were to hit this account, as you guys can see, it shows me everything within this profile. However, I'm going to go ahead and hit the clear fields button because I want to go ahead and create my own profile here. So it's broken down into shipping and billing information, and payment information, and profile information. If you're wondering why billing is grayed out right now, it's because I have this option enabled, same as shipping. If you wish to have it separate, simply untick this and go ahead and fill it out. So for the profile information, I'm going to call this profile title video test profile. And then what I'm going to go ahead and do is fill out the rest of the information and then go ahead and create the profile. It is important to note that when you're filling out your shipping information, if you wish to jig your address, then you can go ahead and do that. And then when you're going ahead and creating your payment information, you can hit the option to go ahead and enable one checkout per site if you wish to do that, and you can also configure the limit by count as well. And then when you're in the profile information section, you can go ahead and jig your phone number if you wish, and also do the dot trick if you wish to do that as well. And once you go ahead and filled everything out, simply hit save profile. As you guys can see, my video test profile has appeared there, and it said profile has been successfully created, but it is there to be able to use with my tasks. Also with your save profiles, if you wish to reorder them, you can go ahead and just simply click on one and put it above the other if you wish to do that. So I'm going to go ahead and break the dashboard before I go ahead and break down the new task section. That is because I'm actually going to run a test task in this overview, so I'm going to skip that for now. We're going to break down the dashboard first. So when you're on the dashboard, there's some data at the top that you guys want to check out. You obviously have your active tasks, then your active proxies, and the reason why it says not available proxy/task is because we don't have any proxies loaded. But if we actually had some proxies loaded, then a number would be there, so just keep that in mind. And then the tasks are actually broken down into ID, store, size, profile, product, log, and actions, all in association with the task you can create. This section is to go ahead and edit selected tasks. So essentially, if I go ahead and select some tasks once they've been created, I can go ahead and use the actions part to go ahead and configure some of the selected tasks, or I can do site type tasks as well. I'm going to go ahead and show you that once we put the tasks in here, but that is just something to keep in mind. Then these buttons over here, I'm going to go ahead and break them down. We have the bulk edit button, we have the bulk schedule button, we have the cancel bulk schedule button, then we have the import task button, which opens up the file directory. Then you have your export task button to export your task out of PD to somewhere else, and then you have your import all settings button, your export all settings button, as well as your export Adidas cards button. And then for the bulk schedule button, just to go ahead and break this down, this is based on your local computer time, so please keep that in mind. And to break down the bulk edit button, you can go ahead and change the URL, keyword and variant, the size, the color, the checkout delay, the password, and then you can go ahead and configure this at the bottom as well, then hit save when you're done. At the bottom here, you can go ahead and change your delays. If you wish to go ahead and change them, hit the save button once you are done, and that will affect all your tasks. Then you have the start all, stop all, clear and inspect buttons at the bottom. If you go ahead and hit new task here, you can go ahead and create a new task. So we have to begin at site type. I'm going to go ahead and give an overview for a supreme task. I'm going to break down what I am going to go for in a second, but keep in mind this is for a supreme task. Obviously different types of tasks are going to look different. This create a task section is going to look different. Some tasks for certain sites are more complicated. For supreme it tends to be a lot more smaller, so please keep that in mind. So for example, if I were to get rid of this, and just keep in mind that all the types of tasks and sites are broken down into a scroll bar here. So if I were to go here and scroll down, we have the Shopify section with all the sites it supports, and then we have the demandware section, the Adidas section. We can go ahead and go through everything here, but I want to hit Supreme. So I want to do Supreme UK desktop, and as you guys can see, like I said, a lot of the options go ahead and disappear because Supreme tends to be an easier site to bot and there's a lot more option to configure. But when we go ahead and select a site type, as you guys can see on the top right, it shows a Supreme picture and it says you selected Supreme site type. Click this box for tips. If I were to click this box, as you guys can see, it goes ahead and gives us some tips there. If you want to read it, then by all means go ahead. So when it comes to specifications, we have our monitor, which is our keywords, URL and variant, and then we can go ahead and change whether it's a URL or keywords. That's completely up to us. Then for our style, we can go ahead and put the style in here. When it comes to style, it's just basically colors, and when you want to go ahead and put in a color, it's a positive for the color you're going for and a negative for any other color you want to avoid. Then for your checkout delay, it's based in milliseconds. You can go ahead and configure this. I think for this overview, I'm going to go ahead and leave the checkout delay at 1000 milliseconds. Then this is your category. I'm going to set it to accessories. I'm going to show you the item I'm going for in a second. However, over here we can go ahead and change the quantity. By default it's set to 1, so if you want to go ahead and change that, you can go ahead and type into it and change the quantity. And over here we have the quantity section. By default it's set to 1. If you want to change that, you can go ahead and put a number in there and change it yourself. And then over here, this is for proxies. At the moment it only says global because we have no proxy groups, but just keep that in mind, that's for your proxies. Then you have the option to enable capture or not, and in this case we're going to need a capture, so that's going to stay enabled. Now in terms of the item we're actually going for, we're going for the Supreme Nalzine 32OZ bottle. So the option are going for the URL, or we can go for the keywords. In this case I'm going to go for the URL. I'm going to copy the URL here and simply just burrow it into there, and as you guys can see, it's there, it's ready to go. And then I want to go for the black version, so I'm going to do plus black, just like so. The checkout delay is already confirmed, the category for the items, like accessories, and we're ready to go. Then at this section, to finalize everything, we can choose the size, and because there's no sizing on that item, I'm going to hit random, and then over here we can go ahead and select our profile. So I'm going to hit video test profile. Then we can go ahead and actually configure the task count. Over here by default it's set to 1, the same as quantity, but we can go ahead and create many if we actually wanted to. Then we have the schedule options. If you wish to schedule something, then keep in mind it's based on your local computer time. You have a few options here. You have the stop task schedule, you also have the change delay schedule, and you have the schedule at the top as well. So you can go ahead and configure that if you wish, but for this overview I'm going to go ahead and manually start the tasks. Once you go ahead and done, hit the create task button, and when you do that it says task saved successfully. If you go to dashboard, as you guys can see, a task has been created. So the ID is RUF, the start is Supreme UK desktop, the size is random, the profile is that, and then the product is the link we put in. The log is idling at the moment because you have yet to do anything. So we have a few actions here. We have the start button, the pause button when we're actually running a task, the delete button, the edit button, the clone button, and we also have these 2 buttons over here, and the last one is the PayPal button. So if we wish to go ahead and edit this, we can hit the edit button and actually go ahead and edit the task, but there's nothing to edit here. I think I'm going to go ahead and leave it as it is. But when you actually hit the edit button, if you want to go ahead and change anything, once you're done, click the update info button so it goes ahead and updates. And just to demonstrate the delete button actually works, we're actually going to hit the delete button here and it goes ahead and clears the task. So essentially we have 2 ways of starting this task. We can individually start the task over here, or we're going to hit the start all button and it will go ahead and start the task. And finally, before we go ahead and start this task, I did say I was going to go ahead and recap back to this. So if I actually select the task, as you guys can see, it says one selected task or all site type tasks. So at the moment I only have Supreme loaded, so if I were to hit this and go to actions, then it will only affect those type of tasks on that website. But if I were to go ahead and only switch to selected tasks here, so that goes ahead and gets highlighted, as you guys can see, 1 is selected, so all these selected tasks will be affected by these actions. So just to break it down again, this is for specific sites and this is for selected tasks with the actions you go ahead and do there, but I'm not going to go ahead and utilize that today. The final thing to do is to go ahead and launch the task. I'm going to hit the start button. It goes through the entire process. It says waiting for capture. I'm going to go ahead and solve this. My score isn't the greatest and I'm not even logged into anything, so this will take a second. So just give me a moment here. So when I hit the verify button, as you guys can see, payment failed to queue, and it's going to keep looping because the payment information is invalid because it is a test profile. And please keep in mind, when you're running the task, at any point you can hit the pause button and it will go ahead and stop the task as well. So if you want to utilize that, you can. So that concludes the overview of Project Destroyer at Cop.Supply.